passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother. I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. Gangster. Gangster.
Black power my ass, y'all just playing the ass posing, frontin', no bustin', no dirty cop gun button. At least more's right, rich, trying to do something. Pen as my weapon, fences up in turbans, no bluffing. Don't get it twisted, sort of more get handcuffing. Judges dismiss cases, prosecutors cussing, telling maggots accuse themselves or get sued. Civil right leaders, unconscious blacks marching on news, stopping traffic, or people that didn't kill their sons and daughters. In Canaanland, we call y'all bright and out of order. Nationality has me awake like a sleep disorder, while most wear blinders, my peripherals broader. For the record, I sweat nervous court reporters in Admiralty maritime shores. Moors walk on water, engines return with no kills, no sight blurred, while they stay killing their minds and saying they learn.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
Your forefathers had names before they became slaves. Seems like today it's only nicknames and names. You should be learning so pain could stop from these vermin. German Nazi Inquisitionists enslaving with sermons. Declared independence, still giving Moors reverence. Talking treaties with Muslims at Oval Office entrance. Into the entrance masters, keep them docile and passive. Killing them, corralling blacks, acting like hostile fascists. Take oaths to break them, unless it's from the Lord. They give profits, we take them and neglect ancestors. Playing Mr. Tuffy, smoking a Dutch from the same master. Bully stealing your money for lunch. Wanna drink from their bowl cause they spike their punch. With Clorox, I'm not guessing, but I have a hunch. I can say I stand up to mercenary punks, while you face proposing with Glocks cocked and shotguns pumped.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster.
If you got guns and use them on targets moving, try KKK badge carriers in your hood cruising. I'm not promoting violence, it's a point I'm proving. Moore's methods do work, but coons disapproving. Khalid calling you out, but you're attacking the sheep and want to show me how good you are with your hands and feet. Never challenge a cop when they arresting your brother, or will wear hoods and hold skittles one after another. Acting with lethal weapons, you Mel Gibsons and gloves. Shot in the back and watching you suffer. Black standing on corners in seconds, life smothered. She forgave him for sunset, but listen to mother. Listen to common exercising his five senses. The end racism, stop looking through racial lenses. Look at constitutional, not civil defenses. Stop marching, the only thing that pickets is fences.
Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. Why you don't pull up on the passenger side of the police car and bust on the police instead of your brother? I've never heard of it. You say you're a gangster. I've never heard of it.
Intelligent. Is he got a gun and magic as his defense? My offense is my rights with intelligence. Colors on our nations, just a semblance. Babylon's wall will fall with intelligence. I'm back. More sheep, more iron, more heads in the hands and front mics crying, more props. Big up yourself, you sellout agent. Stop that, the light nodding to this in your conveyance. General Khalid Muhammad said he's a more. Fake Nuwapian say don't put L after your. Fake NOI burn Elijah Bay pics. All you could do is break my bones with stones and sticks. Toronto, conscious cool town for boule clones. No entry with a felony lectures over the phone. with intelligence. Hence we don't break, we bend. Send energy back and forth in sequence, forth and back. Most don't want me on a track. I tell rappers about their tight shirts and showing ass cracks, not actions. Ignorance makes you a sinner. Get out from under and understand conscious beginner. Become energy dinner or appetizers. Speakers beg my flow to come through the amplifiers. With no mic check, few takes through mic wires. Now if rappers co-defendants or gas liars. If he's got a gun and magic as his defense, my offense is my rights with intelligence. Colors on our nations, just a semblance. Babylon's wall will fall with intelligence. Some call the races having us in their pens because of your ignorance and no intelligence. Colors on our nations, just a semblance. Babylon's wall will fall with intelligence. Alchemists on beats, no full metal. Rapping dummies, glaring ignorance wells and sea pebbles. We got nothing. Frontin' like it's precious stones. Think you got money cause they gave you a loan. In the mirror, do you see X or P Newton? Do you see a black or more or a European? Do you see a Trinbagonian or Jamaican? Or a member of Earth's first population? What do you see in the mirror? A goddess like T or a sellout supporting Master Hill figure? Ask in the mirror, how you looking straight veinless? Negroes see the God but acting aimless. Some look and see wives of self-shapeshift. Some look and find the truth in eyes dark places. Revlon and Maybelline fake faces. Makeup can't hide ex-slave mental cases. With blonde weaves, that's not bad of course. Forgot to mention Rome, blonde hair identified horse. We are not guilty, don't want to be innocent. Guilt is responsible, intelligence. If he's got a gun and badge as his defense, my offense is my rights with intelligence. Colors on our nations, just a semblance. Babylon's wall will fall with intelligence. Some call the races having us in their pens because of your ignorance and no intelligence. Colors on our nations, just a semblance. Babylon's wall will fall with intelligence. They rhyme making no sense to make dollars and holler. On our grounds, rounds leave Moors dead in parlors. So-called blacks call them cracker, then get called Canadian, and shun Moors that say they're not Canadian. This world is full of crazy men with no knowledge of self, but got the most expensive cars and flat screens on the wall shelf. Going all the way to try to help you change, but you won't. And I hardly hear your opinion of Marcus Garvey, but Steve Harvey stands out, true, cool, and jester, making a fool of you and himself for wealth. To me, those sellouts need to get bodied or exiled to Dr. Moreau's island with Gentiles and reptiles. Fake slave ships stacking bodies in piles, giving fake Jews slave respect, not giving me smiles, calling children kids, chasing after Taji guys, supremacy, use albino and half-breed spies. We catch trespassers with razors and mesh, pedophile, torture, scotch bonnet and open flesh. Traders get the shitty end of the stick. Our leaders murderers should have been crushed with pyramid bricks. Huey Newton and Hampton killers should be in front of a squad shooting by any means necessary. Get out the beast belly. Why y'all get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in trash category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori, making me comments mad derogatory. Why y'all get mad glory and your flows mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in trash category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pad or Lori, making me comments mad derogatory. About balance, my art the beam. Sellouts made it mainstream. Underground is almost unseen. Gay A&R signed the rappers' contracts in blood. Took his soul. Body didn't fall with a thud. He's a zombie, dyed hair, dress wearing thug. Burn that garbage, too much to sweep under the rug. Police can't collar a crime without snitches. You're lucky to escape their custody, not dead with just stitches. Make you hate your hair, take Hindus to Ganesha possess ya, and raising your blood pressure. Anything to do with Moors, they don't want you near. Don't search where it's black, you won't find it there. No matter how much you beg, they won't tell you where. No matter how much you don't have, they won't tell you here. Negroes weren't the first slaves, no reparations first. While you wait for your reparations, it looks like a hearse. They won't pay you reparations anyway, only if you agree to make yourself black and gay. Instead of towards Moors, they want you to stray. Won't find your mind when it's in disarray. Thinking being European is the only way, hurling insults at your creator. She will get you later. Why I get mad glory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pattern glory. Making me comments mad derogatory. Why I get mad glory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you in F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pattern glory. Making me comments mad derogatory. What's the reason for the treason is the question and the lesson. I hear most professing, but really possessing. Taking minds messing with thought patterns and pathways Nero. Wanna be a hero when they really cipher, not Neo, not Morpheus or Gillen finding Nemo. Selling out with no remorse, you and yours. Calling you black, showing you who's the boss. Always marching, but never thought sue the police force or do like Haitians. Add some voodoo, of course. You might hurt them unexpected. It could be bloody. Feel your cells curl and your hair stand from walking duppies. Looked, all of a sudden, judge yelled and wept. In court, judge with cold sweats and throat strap. You can't talk yet, cause the candle was lit before I left. Forget Africa, hip hop was the grand theft. Why I get mad glory and your flow's mad corny? Your skin tight jeans put you into F category. Most rappers' names on lists for rhyme pattern glory. Making me comments mad derogatory. Yeah, you bum. Hey, bum. Mitchell, the bum. This is holy day. Holy days for Moors. If you're not Moor, FOH. Happy holy day to all the Moors. Islam to all the Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors. Canaanland Moors. Friday, do what we want to do. Just because holy day, and holy day is for Moors. Not for anybody else. Anybody else playing around? They don't want to be Moors and all that stuff. Then, you know, do whatever you want on Friday. That's what we do on Friday. We be holy. And then look up the metaphysical meaning and don't get caught up because we have a holy day and we're Moors and you're caught up that we're some Islamic whatever. Not Islamic anything. We're Moors. What the hell are you dumb? We're Moors. Real simple. If you don't want to be Moors, no problem. Just recognize that we're Moors. You don't have to be Moor if you don't want to. That's cool. That's cool. You don't be a Moor. But everybody came before and told you that you're Moors. People who told you that you're Moors, and then you're going to say, oh, well, that doesn't really apply right now because our master teacher started doing some other stuff after Moors. So we're not Moors. You guys are stupid idiots. That's why only a fool will be in denial of your Moorish ancestry and keep playing this stupid jackass stuff just because your master teacher did jackass stuff. I'm going to do jackass stuff because that's my master teacher. You guys are fools. So once again, Islam to all the Moors and happy holy day. We're going to keep putting that hex on you until you get into this little box and then you can't get out. And then you're going to be complaining about the Moors put you in slavery. That's what you get because you want to play around on holy day. It's not Moors. Don't blame Moors. Don't blame Moors. Go blame Noble Drew Ali. Go blame Allah or something like that. Don't blame Moors because you're a dumbass and want to be a dumbass. Not Moors' fault. You sat there like the dumbass and let the lady put the teacup ritual on you with the spoon and all that stuff like that, have you in a hole. You let her do that like a dumbass. Sat there, didn't even know how to do the block so that she couldn't even do her ritual. And you're talking BS about Moors when you're in the hole. So we're here to bring the marvelous light because only Moors are the light bearers. Only Moors are the Lucifers. The morning stars, only Moors. Morning star, only Moors are the ones. So we want to say Islam to all Moors. Peace and love to all Moors. We already know the principles. We already know what's up. We see it happening around us right now. We already know what's up. Islam to all the Moors, the sincere Moors. Islam to all the Taurus Moors too. Islam to you, because that's the one right now. The Taurus one right now is bulls for no bull. That's the Taurus one right now. So you bring your BS, see what happens. So these people playing games with you. You don't want to hear. You don't want to realize that there's a big fraud going on. And the asshole of the joke is the Negro, black, colored. We don't care what we call ourselves. We'll be everything except Moors. That's who the butthole of the joke is. Unconscious Moors that keep on to play this game. Their master teacher put them on something, but they don't want to do that. They want to do their own thing because they think they figured it out. Because their master teacher taught them that he is the real whatever. Put it on the record again. People want to play stupid and not recognize that it was laid down by your master teacher. What's up? If you want to pick it up, that's up to you. But don't say that your master teacher didn't tell you about Moors. None of you people could say that you're in whatever way they tell you about Moors, positive or negative. You can't say they didn't tell you about Moors. For you to know that there's a people called Moors that your master teacher is talking about. And then these people are around you today with fezzes and turbans on and all that stuff. And you're saying you're not them? But your master teacher talked about us. What the hell do you mean? Your master teacher knows what's up. He's L or whatever in the background. All these occultist people, they don't know Delbert Blair's a Bay. They don't know that. They think he's some occult guy. These people are playing around. And the more they play around, the worse the conditions get for our people. And you don't want to get what's up yet. And the more they play around, and the conditions get worse. When are you going to take stock of your own stuff? And again, not putting a knock on people who call themselves whatever they want to call themselves, and they're doing good work. Honors to you for being sincere and doing good work, but you're doing it at dead status. So you're really not doing anything really, but just continuing the BS to keep going on. That we're supposed to be doing things to stop the BS, but the things that we do never stops the BS. It just keeps getting worse. Doesn't mean it's time now to really do what all the master teachers said that it was do. Yeah, there were Moors. Positive or negative, doesn't matter. We're Moors. They ever put black people in slavery and all that stuff? Yeah. But still, who the Moors put in slavery were Moors. They weren't black people. The Moors put the Moors in slavery, yes. The Moors put the black people in slavery, no. I'm trying to just stop the games. We're telling you, people are playing you. Master teachers did certain things. Pupils, students, disciples, missionaries, emissaries, whatever, of the master teacher should be doing what master teachers, like what? Why not? It only makes sense if that's your master teacher and he taught you about Moors and what it means to be a Moor and bloodline of the Moors and all of that. Told you everything. And Moors approach you like, hey, you know that you're not whatever like that. Your master teacher said that actually right here in your master teacher's book that you're Moors and that he's a Moor. So what do you mean you're not that? Well, that was back then and we don't have to do that now because back then it was a different whatever and all this BS, you're making up BS. But you're dealing with Moors? I remember this is as Moorish Science Temple of America. Platform, Moorish Divine National Movement, Moorish Holy Temple of Science. There's an obligation that we have to something that was laid down before us. That's just what it is, especially if it was for righteousness and good and whatever. Somebody after that person is going to take the same thing, but then followers of that individual is not going to get with it and then keep playing this BS. And everything was put on paper, so there's a record, which is why all of us know we're supposed to have a library with books. You're supposed to have some shelves at your house with some stuff on them with pages and covers, some pictures sometimes. Black and white color maybe, you know, but you should have something. Like if you have nothing, there's a very big problem. Very big, huge problem. And we're saying, forget having stuff on the shelf and then on top of the table and then on top of the chair and on top of the speaker and on top of the whatever. We're not even talking about that far. We're just saying 3 shelves you should at least have to back up whatever position it is that you're taking, because, you know, the whole point of living is acquiring knowledge. Why would you have a mind? Why would you have a head? If it's not about putting something in there that you have to put in there. So you can come to some type of realization in this mad human drama. That I lie to you, tell you, oh yeah, life, and then do life stuff. No, man is mind. Man is not because I have a job. Man is not, oh yeah, this food tastes really good now right now. You need to watch your class. Is that really air you're breathing? Or somebody playing you? Probably somebody playing you. We're going to put it on the record again. Because people want to play games and then send their little people to play games thinking that, you know, Moors are playing with something. Not only that, always remember that as Moors, we know everybody. So when we talk about things, we're talking from firsthand. We're never talking speculative. Because we are being Moors. We are not some stuff you read in a book. We are actually a nation of people out here. And we know that we have a certain level of information that our people need in order to get out of this BS that they're claiming they been got their self out of because they had this leader and this leader and this leader and stuff just getting worse. Do you realize it's time to change your pattern? So we're going to put it out again. So people like to play games. How Europe underdeveloped Africa. Walter Rodney. Look him up. Look him up and his story about writing this book. You want to hear. You want to realize that master teacher came and told you what's up. Noble Drew Ali's the prophet. What the flag is. All of that master teacher knew. Wrote about it in his own books. You playing? Page 192. United States capitalists did not confine themselves to mere trade with Africa, but they also acquired considerable assets within the colonies. It is common knowledge that Liberia was an American colony in everything but name. Everything but name? Liberia? Hey, doesn't that sound familiar to what they said about United States? That it exists in name only? And it itself is a complete fraud? No. No wonder they could say that about Liberia. Because Liberia is one and the same with that. And anybody claiming that they're from over there, anyone claiming that they're from over there, when you say that you're Yamasee out your mouth, in your literature, you put it on the record, that you're Yamasee, you're Yamasee. But you're some Liberian diplomat. You're not a U.S. citizen. You're not a U.S. citizen, but you're a Liberian. Thought you're Yamasee. Thought you had the feathers and all that stuff. What do you mean you're Liberian? What the hell are you talking about? But why? Because they played around with the prophet. And you're not supposed to play around with the prophet. You're just not supposed to. It's just something that's not supposed to be done. Why it's done? I don't know. I can't call why it's done. But people take a position of making sure that once they found out about Noble Drew Ali, they pretty much throw him under the bus. But still use him, still use his teachings, still say his name, but not really tell you what it's really about with this individual and why people who push this individual and what he taught face so much BS out here from our own people. who are trying to play like we don't know what's up. We're Moors. We know what's up. We're the ones with the libraries. We're the ones who study. We're the ones who stay up late and all that stuff. Right? We're the ones. Now, when we go to page number 8 in Who is Noble Drew Ali by Malachi York, he teaches the Nuwapians that during Doc's stay in Morocco, I wore the traditional garb of the Moroccans, the kuftan and fez. Now, if Malachi York is telling you you have a fez, that means you're a Moor, and you should stop all the Nuwapian BS. Because your master teacher is in his own book telling you that the Moroccan's garb is the fez. People are going to lie to you and tell you some stuff about some tarbouche or whatever BS. Tell you that's some Arab stuff. Leave that alone. That's not your ancestor stuff. People straight playing you. Had your prophet in the alley just giving him rib shots. People taking selfies. What the Moors gonna do now? Look what they doing to your prophet. He's your prophet too, dumbass. Just let him get thrown under the bus by these same people who took his stuff and taught you. And then now you're on some campaign about, yeah, let's free some people because some Europeans are being unjust to them when they denied their birthright and their prophet. You want some, Allah handled it. You want to do stuff your way? Go ahead. Noble Drew Ali warned all these people. Don't try to play games now like, you know, Moors support this because of whatever. We're letting you know what's up. That certain people played themselves by going against the prophet, who they know was the prophet. Page 20. Although Noble Drew Ali intended, underlined, to teach you the divine truth of your nationality, he fell short. And the task now lies with me. You must come home and accept your own. I, as Sayyid al-Imam Isa al-Mahdi al-Mahdi, al-Hadi al-Mahdi, have brought you to the water, and now you must drink. He brought you to the water, and now you must drink. Could you breathe underwater? Now, Noble Drew Ali said he brought you marvelous light. And then somebody's telling you, oh yeah, we're going to bring you to water and make you drink. Right? You must drink. Not you have an option of drinking or not drinking. When they bring you to the water, you must drink. And we already have the Moabites that used to live on the land. Now, we're not going to get into nobody's personal business or whatever like that. But, you know, just like other certain people been knowing that certain stuff been going on. You're just not gonna talk BS about certain people. Because power is a mighty thing to wield. Remember, no duality taught power is illusion. That's why all these people play themselves. Because they get caught up in the power game. They get caught up in the wanna be somebody. You just came here yesterday, you wanna be somebody? What do you mean you wanna be somebody? How do you wanna be somebody? Straight throw noble duality under the bus, playing around like somebody did something. Nobody do nothing. Talk BS about noble duality. BS, page 44. The meaning of the Masonic name Noble Juali. Noble Juali accepted many customs and symbols of the Masonic Lodge, a secret fraternity founded in the East. The use of the names El and Bey are also taken from the Masons. The use of the names El and Bey are also taken from the Masons. Noble Juali came to the conclusion that these names were the surnames belonging to the Moors. So he slid one in right there that you didn't catch because you're going to get so caught up in, forget Noble Juali because he is a Mason. Okay, but the Mason stuff comes from the Moors. Well, your master teacher said. The surnames El and Bey are taken from the Masons. Noble Juali came to the conclusion that these names were the surnames belonging to the Moors. So the Masons are really the copycats, not the Moors. Master teacher, tell you, put it on the record. Ain't nothing wrong with Masonry. That's for Europeans to get their self right. We got Islamism to get ourselves right. This is why it's holy day today, because evermore giving honors, getting themselves right. Went through the toil. So we get a holy day. We paid our dues. Been paid our dues. Ever since Noble Juali came on the scene and started letting us know that we're not Negro black color, but people want to play games with you. Now, I was supposed to go somewhere with all this, but it's amazing how Allah is the greatest. It's amazing how Allah is the greatest. And when Allah is the greatest, you just have to sit back sometimes and just laugh. Like the good laugh. So we'll carry on till we get the return. Page 72. Noble Juali did the Nubian a great service when he claimed our true flag from the archives. Oh, let me reread that. I made a mistake. Noble Juali did the Nubian a great service when he claimed your true flag from the archives in Washington, D.C., which had been in American possession for 113 years. Right? You see? You see how He gave the birthright right back. Deliberate. This is the same mind game stuff that you hear people talking about, you know what I mean? And put out certain information knowing where you're going to think next. And have you give up your own stuff. So you already know that some Europeans aren't American. So it's not some American possession. Of course, the game's going to get played right now. Noble Drew Ali said he was going back to reclaim the flag of his people. He was actually speaking of the flag of the Mahdi, which bears the Kalimat, not the Moroccan flag of today. This reclaiming entitled the Nubian to assume his birthright and practice the religion of his forefathers. The black, red, green flag with the spear and the crescent and the Arabic inscription. And then he's saying that that was the actual flag that the Garveyites had. They just took off the spear and the Arabic writing. Like setting himself up real good to be the Mahdi. Right? Now remember that he also thus you have the mission of Noble Drew Ali. Thus we have the mission of Noble Drew Ali. As you can see, he tried to give the Nubian in America a link to his past through developing a nation with a code of dress, mystic symbols, and a flag by borrowing from other cultures. Although his intentions were good, you can now see that his information was not always correct. Nevertheless, his mission undeniably served to introduce Islam to a people who were totally lost. Noble Drew Ali led the Nubian in America back to the path so that his student, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, could take you a step further in preparation of the final leg of the journey, which I, as Sayyid al-Imam Isa al-Hadi al-Mahdi, am your guide. I am the reformer sent to you in this day and time to carry on what Noble Drew Ali started. Therefore, I entreat you, once lost but now found seed of our great father Abraham, to join me in reclaiming your rightful heritage. And what people fail to realize is that this was not a Noble Drew Ali ideology. More's been around. More didn't start with Noble Drew Ali. The point of bringing him up is because he's the only one that told you that you're Moors. He's the only one that told you about Islam, specifically Islamism, where he's not taking something from other cultures. You recognize everything is his culture. That's why he could prepare the Quran for the Moors, which includes everybody out here, that these individuals know that it's them. The people who are totally lost are the ones who've been following their master teachers all into some BS. You think the game's up for everybody who's been playing games. The game's up for everybody who's been playing games, right? They straight playing with you. Straight playing. Nuwabian Moors newsletter, September 21st, 1997. Remember, this is the Mahdi. This is 97. This is the time right now. Big time. 2000 coming in and the change of the energies and all that. Where were they at in 97? Moors throughout the northern hemisphere. Moors throughout the northern hemisphere. Nuwabian Moors newsletter. Like, who really changed that to Tamaray Times? Who really changed that? Who said we're not saying Nuwapian Moors anymore? And then if you're going to say that, oh, well, Dr. York said it, then that means he's Negro black colored. That means he's a U.S. citizen. He's under their jurisdiction if he's not going to say L when he's talking with these people who call themselves so-called government, that you guys writing letters to them like they're some kind of government. How are you writing to them like they're somebody? How are you writing to them like they're somebody? This is them, huh? The Moors in America. When did the title Moor first start being used in America? And is it a legal term or just some concoction of some fanatics who just want to call themselves Moors to identify with the Moroccan Mohammedan branch of Islam? Who's he talking to today? This is 97. Who's he talking to today? When did the title Moor first start being used in America? Rhetorical question, because talk some BS. What do you mean? When? It's been being used in America, but okay, we'll play a little stupid game. And is it a legal term? Is it a term that because the European has a book of terms and more is in that book, that means that, oh, that word more is deep? Or just some concoction of some fanatics, and fanatics who wear fezzes and turbans and They dress like Moroccans. I can't believe they dress like that. They're in a cult. They better drink the Kool-Aid, the Noble Drew Ali Kool-Aid, and talking BS. Are we fanatics who just want to call ourselves Moors to identify with some Moroccan, Muslim, Islamic, whatever? What most people don't know is that the word Moor is in the treaties made between the Continental Congress of the United States and the Moroccans as far back as 1786. Why would he use that as a reference point? Why would he use that as a reference point? For the dumbasses who call themselves Nuwapians to go read the treaty. Now you read the treaty, you realize ain't no treaty in America made with no Nuwapians, with these Europeans. Like, it's so crazy. Man even brought you your own Holy Quran, put his picture in it with Noble Drew Ali. Brought you your own Holy Quran, Circle 7, gave you the hardcover and all that. And you don't get it yet? You still think this is some game? You think this is some game? Then you're mad at Moors? Well, the Moors should be doing whatever. What are we doing? How you gonna go in there without the L? How you going into that jurisdiction and you're not doing the extralation? You're a master teacher? You went into jurisdiction without the extralation? Tripping. You better go look up extralation. Talking about all the work that certain people did or whatever. What about all the work Moors do? You know what work Moors do? Tireless work that Moors do? Tireless. Moors will be on the slave 12-hour shift, come home and still have to build with Moors. And build with them. And never felt so great after a 2-hour sleep. Ever. Because there's something about Moors. There's something about Moors. Keep bringing it up. Keep bringing it up. Telling you. Slapping you in the face with it. Once we established, this is for Mitchell. Mitch, hey Mitch, this one's for you, Mitch. Once we establish that the Moroccans who came here were Moors, that is not necessarily Muslims, but simply dark-skinned, woolly-haired Moors. What more you want than that you're Moors from your master teacher? You want more? No pun intended. He touched children and they said that he did certain stuff, and he has a cult, and some people drank the Kool-Aid, and some people did all types of stuff and whatever. Forget all that BS. He told you people that we're Moors. You can't get around it. That's just what it is. We're Moors. There's no ifs, ands, buts, hows, what, nothing to debate, nothing to argue. Go ask your master teacher. And we're telling you, he went in the jurisdiction without the L, which is why they have him in the jurisdiction right now. Because he should have known better. But he should have known improper persona. You can't tell me you're chief Yamasi and all that type of stuff, and you don't know impropriate persona. Even the Red Indian's gonna say, little Falcon, whoever, but you know, they call me Frank Joseph. Even they're playing the stupid stuff. And then this man, who's from over here, is telling you that he's Moors, you're Moors, give you Quran and all of that stuff. He's gonna tell you, oh, I want to be a Liberian diplomat because I have papers from Liberia that said I'm a diplomat. But you didn't read King Alfred Plan? You didn't read King Alfred Plan? That these so-called people who are ambassadors, which is synonym for diplomat, of these foreign countries, ain't no foreign aid, you ain't getting nothing. What they gonna do for you? You're from over here, bound to this continent by heritage. European knows that. Oh, but these guys are gonna do diplomat. And then they're gonna give him his little pass or whatever, right? Because it's a PR campaign. And then he's gonna go in there, and then everybody's gonna leave from here and then go over there, and then just got played again. Because you just went from the U.S to the U.S. You just paid for the ticket, like a dumbass. But we'll stop there. And there's some other stuff that was going on. So I got a message from somebody in a panic. Yo, RV site's down. I don't know what to do. They're in a panic mode because RV base site was down. Panic mode. Like when I say panic mode, I swear something happened. Like I really had to stop and like, did something more happen than I thought happened? But I just wanted to get it on the record that everything's good. So on the phone right now, we have our good mothers that keep us in check at all times. I'll let them do their thing. Islam,
peace and love, Cujo, Gracie Cujo. How are you?
Everything is peaceful. Everything is peaceful. How is yourself on this holy day?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely happy today. I'm doing very well. You know, and I mean, he's going to, you definitely have a little message. Well, first of all, I would just like to thank everybody for their patience during a technical difficulty. RV Bay Publications did not shut down for business or wasn't really doing business. We're a publication company. And, we were not shut down, but that's what some people who took advantage of a opportunity to slander and say that we were out of business. See, didn't I tell you? And as if we won't name names because we don't do that. And made a flyer and everything. Told y'all, and and then. But first, before I say anything about that, I want to say this. I thank all of the RV Bay people who peruse RV Bay, who study from RV Bay, for their patience. We look forward to their continued interest and activity. And we thank them for their support. However, the universe thanks you more than we do. All righty. So I want to get that out of the way because that's first and foremost, and with love. Now, with the other converse part that happened, opportunist who actually was happy to think that we were out of business and posted it all over the World Wide Web. And, it was a little bit, of course, confusion because, in fact, we were down for it took less than 24 hours
for all of this to happen. But there's always divine law governs all events. And it's always another side to everything, even if it seems like it's something that's not good. Because believe me, I was freaking out myself a little bit, if I could use that word. And then, of course, my son, being there, always supportive for me, and my sister Anna Ede, who you'll hear from, helping me to balance my Libra scales. She's a Libra too, and like, all right, just balance this out and see what how the thing's going down. But I realized that sometimes things always happen for a reason, and it's always a divine reason. So there was panic, of course, from all of us. But there was also those other opportunities to put up that, we were out of business, etc., and just had a grand old time with it. And then there were others who took an opportunity to, in fact, say, to redirect, and we won't name them, because I'm sure there's a lot of other things that went on, because things have been going on slanderously anyway. So sometimes when you have so much fierce negative energy, it has to show up somewhere, and it does. So, but then it's also, you have to know how to redirect negative energy, which is a lesson that I learned in all of this. But then there was a message put up that someone took the opportunity to say that while RV Bay is down, send all of your proclamations to us, as if, and implied for certain that they were with us and we gave us the authority for that. Well, we want other people to know that did not happen. So I know that, Sister Arnie, you might want to make a statement regarding that. Are you there?
Islam, love.
Islam. Peace and love, mother. Peace.
It was quite interesting. Like, if you didn't know who was with you and who was against you,
yeah,
last 24 hours, you got a pretty good idea of some of this. I call it infiltrate for activity, because when something is in place with just people, and then you have other people just showing up, and they imply that they're doing the work too, and they're like serious Jonathan Layton just showed up yesterday. Just showed up yesterday, but they're doing the work, all right, and the work that they're doing is to undermine what has been in place in assisting people all around the world. They really showed their hand in the past 24 hours. And, I want to also say to everyone, thank you, everyone, for patience and understanding and the support. Oh my goodness, the support. It's amazing. Like, there were people that had our back. Immediately saw that there was some infiltration activity trying to take place, and was, right there. So I want to thank all of the Moorish for that. And I don't, everything happens for a reason, and sometimes even an event that's not very pleasing is a lesson. It's designed to show you something. So it really did that. So I'll end by saying this. Please be aware of people who imply that they are speaking on behalf of RV-based publications or in any of its platforms, and be be very careful, because unless it comes from myself or Raz, you're probably talking to an infiltrator.
Mm-hmm. Especially where the proclamations are concerned. So you want to make that statement for sure, because that is already been reflected on the site as a result of this. Someone has put in, and we've got people now who are in the process or whatever, and they are totally confused. You know how the prophet said, do not cause confusion? Well, they are totally confused because they believe in their innocence or whatever, that it is to be, all proclamations are to be redirected to this particular person. They believe that. And so they're in a panic of confusion about it. So you want to make that statement clear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Fans of the proclamation. So you should.
Yeah, proclamations, the same process that you have already adhered to. Please continue to continue to follow it. I strongly suggest that you go to the rbbaypublications.com website and download the name correction and confirmation, because we make notations on it, periodically, so that we can ensure that people are going to the website, not just going to the website and getting the documents, that they're not being altered, and that, people are getting the most up-to-date documents. So always go to the RBJ Publications website to, get the documents, as well as please, people are making really simple errors. And I believe it's because you're possibly getting the document from somewhere other than RBJ Publications, and so you're not getting the instructions. Mm-hmm. And because you're not getting instructions, you make really minor errors that you wouldn't make if you read the instructions. So and also, the reason that we have to go to the website and read the instructions is because we all need to learn how to read instructions and follow them. It is a learning experience. And, don't get discouraged if you make an error 2 or 3 or even 4 or 5, 6, 7 times. Don't get discouraged. Please. Please don't get discouraged, because you need to become proficient in doing this, so that if you do need to put in a civil suit, it's not it's gonna cost, it could cost you, 250 to 400 notes to put in a civil suit. You don't have the luxury to make simple errors in that venue. So this is your training ground. This is to help you. And so when people come along and they say, "Oh, I'll do the forms for you, or come here and we'll fill it out," what are you pretty little head, so to speak, it's really doing you an injustice. Really are. They're helping to keep you asleep and leave everybody awake, ready, and able. So there's little things put in place to help get everybody up to speed. And so don't take even the littlest things for granted. There is a reason for everything. So with that, I just want to once again say, be careful. The purest place this information is the rbjpublications.com website. If you go anywhere else, it's questionable, and it's certainly questionable that you may be dealing with an infiltrator. We have to always be mindful. And Overdue Ali said, "Hey, be careful, through your own wearing feathers and feathers, but you right back to slavery." some of them is running around with baseball caps with the Moorish flag on there. So it ain't just turbans and festive. So be careful. There are infiltrators trying to keep you asleep everywhere. Meanwhile, we try and help you wake up and get up to speed so that you can handle your affairs and we can do things because there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. So when you see people who are coming along and they're duplicating what is already being put in place, that is evidence of infiltration because there's so much that needs to be addressed.
Yes.
So much. So with that, I would just want to say thanks to everybody for, just supporting the patience and trusting and knowing that the honor and integrity that is RV-based publications is there. The work has been done for how many years? In 2006, RV-based and beyond, actually, because it actually started as a different venues, but work here, and so we thank you for honoring the work that has been put in place, all the years of sacrifice that God did. God did all this sacrificing, and then I came up behind her and did the same thing because I followed her. In 2008, I've been, and then beyond, really. So I followed her example, and she followed Valerie's example. So you got three sisters that have put it down, made a foundation, and so be careful because, like Dr. White said, when turbulence sessions, sometimes they broadcast. We put you right there in place. Be careful. Thank you again for all your support. And thank you again for protecting the honor and integrity of RV-based publications.
Absolutely. And let me just add where they would go to, in case they don't know, is the RV-based publications National Identification Card and Proclamation page. Proclamations are at section 13 with instructions on that. It's really important to go there if you're dealing with having them sealed because it tells you succinctly. And as you said, others won't tell you. They say, "Oh, look, just come fill it out," and that's where some problems come in as to why things are being returned because we're going to do it right. Because Islam is about what's right. I was doing some studying in some of the archived information and stuff. And Islam is about what is right, not about what the majority thinks is right. And that's why the Prophet said, if you're the only one, just be the only one. So with that, I will say that, yes, we are working on a new platform because we've been out there on this platform as a publication website for a very long time. We're grandfathers, and we're working on getting it onto a new platform, which essentially means I have to rebuild the site again. And I'm kind of looking forward to it, bringing it up, et cetera, like that. But I have to look at, what the limitations are, what can be, and stuff like that. So that's all that's happening, and that's all that was a technical glitch. It's really, again, like I said, divine law governs all events, and I also referred to, and I have read this in full, and I'm not now, on some of our sisters standing on law, Thessalonians 2:1-12, and the bibliotelia text really, really explains what's happening right now with everyone unveiling themselves, or some people say revealing, but revealing means to reveal. It means to hide it again. It's unveiling, themselves. So there was some good in everything, and we move on from there. So, Cujo, I don't know if you have any other questions, but I just want to thank you. I'll say this. I'm very grateful. Here's some background noise. I'm very grateful, and I recognize the support that we do have all this time. And I just want everyone to know that sometimes you don't even realize it, but this happening, even with the good and the bad, really, really got me to see even more than before. And I absolutely appreciate the support. Thank you. So, Cujo, I don't know if there's something.
Yeah, I can ask you this question. You were talking about you were doing some public records research and you found some stuff. You want to touch on that?
Yes, if I could. Yeah, I was doing, again, Divine Lifestyle event, and I was doing some records research in regards to the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the world, the Moorish Science Temple of America, founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and I clearly understand why the distinction must be made, founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and why he said that he's at the head. Because of the division that did occur, upon reading these articles and this public information that's archived, it became very clear to me when the Prophet passed for him, and even before he passed for him, there was some letters from him where he literally vacated or shut down certain temples and their names. And why? And in one phraseology, he says that this person is the most dirtiest Moor I've ever, met. And I understand, because we understand what dirty Moor means and why he says to use it. But what I found, and I brought to Cujo, and said, Cujo, this is really simple. When this happened, Billy Neal was absolutely directed to be in charge at that time. And then after him, the Prophet said, when you're ready to turn in the keys, give them to Kirkman Bey. Well, of course, Kirkman Bey didn't like that too much. He wanted it right now. So that began a division and a whole lot of things. And then the one temple, which at that time was under Lomax Bey, I believe it is, it's right here in the public record stuff. They went and had a secret little appointment of Kirkman as the Grand Poobah and the head of the Moorish Science Temples of America, founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. They did that without following the bylaws of the organization. And here's what I found, and I don't know if I mentioned this, Shikujo, but I found very, very impacting was that at some point, then the Kirkman Bey had the audacity to bring Miliel at that time to court in an admissible venue for the purposes of determining the dispute regarding the bylaws of the organization. Of course, Miliel won because the bylaws never said you have a secret appointment. That's not a part of the bylaws. So now here's your split. So then I was saying, well, why don't we do a little chart on what temples in their little charters that they say they have came from what I'm going to call the true renegade. They call the people renegade Moors. And the truth is the temples are at that point that's a renegade temple for real, by the Prophet's own words, right? There's a couple of them that he actually shut down. But anyway, I was thinking if you could do a flow chart, so to speak, on all these so-called temples and the charters that came from that who on the succession is from the renegade MST of A, if you will. But then he said to me, it doesn't really matter now at all because all of them are infiltrated. They're all in error as to what they're doing now by not following the Prophet's law, the Constitution and bylaws, which is inclusive of the Circle 7 Holy.
No,
Yes.
Yeah, I got a contact today from Elder Moore that used to be, well, he's still a Grand Chief. He's near Cleveland territory, and he basically was saying that he sat down with all of them as a Grand Sheik. He just called me today that he sat down with all the whoever's of all the different bodies of the whatever, and nobody's on point with what Noble Drew Ali brought. Because when he's talking about, when he starts bringing up things like CMB and stuff like that, they don't want to hear none of that. Which as he's a Grand Chief from the 50s, he knows that this was part of the stuff. As far as Moorish Science Temple and all of that's concerned, this was constitutional. This was enforcing rights. This was, things on that level. So right there, this is an individual now that supposedly is in there and has tried to relay this message to these people. That how you're doing it isn't really the way that you're supposed to be doing it. And none of them want to hear that.
Well, and nobody does study anyway, too. So I think that if they're really, really interested in having conversation, if we talk to a topic, then in getting those archives and ciphering it out before speaking on any of it. That's what I found, because it's all in there. If you would just connect the dots, it's all in there. And then the only thing that it will make you, the unknowing, more just haven't known in all these years or coming in new, I'm telling you, the only thing it'll let you see is there definitely was a infiltration and division within the Moorish Science Temple of America back then. Now that leads later to another infiltration by COINTEL and all of that and the FBI, but that came later. So that just double indemnity on the fact. But the one fact that will be clear also is, why is it to Temple number 1? Well, this is why. Because this group, because of the division that occurred, and they just did not follow the instructions of the prophet, which, even though they went to a municipal venue, which is just terrible, but even though they did, that was proven then. And that was back in, 30 or 31, something like that. So I don't have that in front of me. I didn't look at the date. So even though that occurred, now after that, you have all kinds. You also will find another group of people creating an MST of A that had nothing to do with the prophet's work or the prophet himself. And then you'll find later around the 50s, some more that's created. And of this day, you find so many people who have created MST of A's, 501Cs with them in a whole nine. So it's a montage of information that you really, if you really want to speak on it, if you really want to know about it, you really got to get to the study of it instead of just the mask that they put in front of you and the stuff that they speak out of their lips. In fact, if I may, and I don't know, I assume this is an authentic letter. Brother Cujo is dated October 17, 1928. And it says it's from the prophet, and of course this is before he passed. And it says, this is to the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, this is the instruction from your prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds, that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near. So says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Drew Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear. These they would be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch the enemies, dear Moors. The enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule them to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. All right, so that is appropriate right now as we speak. Right now as we speak. So, you know, I will say this. The end of time never meant the end of time of the earth and the heavens and so on. It really means a shift in consciousness. That's what it means. And the ability to be able to identify what we call the lawless ones. And that's in Thessalonians 2, chapter 1 through 12 as well. And to be able to know that many have been given a delusion only because they themselves refuse to accept the truth. So you're going to have to make those discernments, as the sister Annie said earlier. Be very careful, as Kudu was saying, as the prophet said. You, not your homeboy, your homegirl, but you will have to be able to make those discernments. So back to, you know, this research that I was doing in the archives, the one thing that will be clear is that the words of the prophet are true, and that there was absolutely a division, and it's not the COINTELPRO, it's the people themselves, because that infiltration can only happen or be allowed to happen amongst the people themselves. And with that being said, you ought to be a little bit more willing or wanting to truly seek out all of the prophets' work and cipher through it the best you can and study, so that you will know that if you are looking for your savior, you better look within. If you're looking for your devil, you look within as well, because that's a fact. Because none of these people who claim, or not doing his work, but claiming to, which you'll find out when you study his work, are going to save you. Islam.
Well, if that's not it, give thanks for the update. And all the Moors in the chat said happy holy day. I don't know if you have there's a couple me being included. There's some solar return Moors coming up with Taurus season. So I don't know if you have a message out there for the people who have something going on during the Taurus season.
You know, I haven't actually studied. I know Jupiter is getting ready to go into Taurus, if it hasn't already, because I find that you are Taurus. And that means that also Uranus will be there. So, you know, Jupiter always expands your gift, expands and rewards you. It's, of course, you know, whatever it is your due reward is. So you may have expansions, you may have expansions in tangible things, mainly physical things, but first is in the mind. But you also may have Uranus being in Taurus, who may make some disconnections. Now, what that means for a Taurus is one of the things that they really must learn, and that is to let go of certain things, especially physical things, because you already know how that goes with Taurus. It's very difficult for them to let go of anything because they govern possessions. They're the house of possessions. So you have to take yourself back to the fact that your true possession, as you have entered from the spirit into the flesh on this earth plane, is naked and raw, that you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 5, 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 limbs, etc., like that. All right. So that should help you to release, as Uranus will force you to do, some physical things, because you already came here with everything that you need to have in terms of possession. And that's a lesson for Taurus, because they actually carry the mental energy, you know, when the raw energy from being here that comes in as you enter in Aries is passed on from Aries to the Taurus, and he holds on to it to try to supervise and decide how we're going to, you know, use it to be on this plane. So he carries a lot of the energy through mental, you know, and it's interesting because, as you know, there's polar opposites, but it's interesting because some Tauruses, people see them as being lackadaisical or walking very slow or not moving. They never move on a dime. You know, if it's a plan that you have to make, you got to let them know ahead of time, because they do not like to make changes. So they're carrying a lot of that energy, and that's why they walk the way they walk. But the thing is that the irony to that is that, so people think that they're lackadaisical or lazy or they're not doing anything, but they're literally carrying a lot of mental energy. And what proves that wrong is that they have extreme physical strength. You know, that's why they're represented also by the bull. So they're not, you know, to be chumped off just because it appears that they're using this energy mentally. They are able to use it in full force physically, you know, so, you know, that's a blind side on that. So just be prepared to let go of stuff, let go of some physical stuff. But first, of course, that has to start in the mind, but it will equate to you losing some physical things, possibly, or giving up some physical. That doesn't mean you have to lose it unwillingly. It just means that you're going to have to let it go, because Uranus is going to force you to do so. But of course, more shall come. Islam.
Islam. Well, peace and love. Appreciate it.
So, can you, as a Taurus, relate to what I just said?
Oh yeah, no doubt. Working on that. Been working on that.
Peace and love. Thank you for having me on your platform. Thanks to all the Moors that are there and that are listening. We love you. I love you. I really appreciate all the support, and I really look forward to your continued interest and activity. However, the universe thanks you more for that. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Peace.
Peace.
There you go, more. Happy solar return. We got some notes or whatever from that. You know how we do. It just goes like that sometimes. It just goes like that. So we got some questions emailed. See what's good with some of that. Since we're the new defenders of the truth out here, people playing around. We're playing around. So this is 2013. So we're going back. 2013. Amor sends a message. How are you? I live in Montreal, and I'm very interested in nationalizing myself, and if that is possible here. Thank you very much. Can't wait to hear back. Got a message back from the Moorish Science Temple that he sent a message to. The reply, Islam and honors. Yes, that is in fact possible there. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was once invited to go to Canada, and it is stated that he was going up there to establish temples as well. Just mail your application in, and 1 month dues up front, and we will go from there. Now that's Moorish Science Temple. Now, why wouldn't Moorish Science Temple reply be, hey, you're in Montreal? Cujo's right over there. That's the Grand Sheik of the first Moorish Science Temple of America. Then start talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali was once invited to go to Canada and start a temple there. But no, these Moors want to hate. They want to hate on Canaanland. But the Moor came home, Islam to Brother Jed. Moor came home and Moor's doing his work. Good thing that he came home, because if he was with those guys, crazy. You can look this one up. How the left's war on words manipulates your mind. How the left's war on words manipulates your mind. Words can now literally be defined with their antonym. We are a hair's width and an ounce of stupidity away from war is peace and freedom is slavery. Woo! We are a hair's width and an ounce of stupidity away from war is peace, freedom is slavery. Freedom is slavery. War is peace. How is war peace? How is freedom slavery? Freedom slavery if you do like certain people and don't declare your nationality. And you're trying to get out of a jurisdiction by going to someone who you're putting yourself in the jurisdiction that they created, who you're trying to get away from. That's slavery. Because when they say, oh yeah, fine, we'll do whatever for you, now they got you forever. Because they're never going to call that debt in until the time is right. Hair's width. For all you stateless people who want to play like you're not Moors and nationality doesn't matter. All right. Keep playing. Peace and love, family. How is your nation, the Societas Republica et al. Mauricanos? As we'll call them Barbary states of America, the ones that are quote unquote Moorish Latin speaking, they know that they're a jural society, which is what makes them a nation. Because they all have the same customs. They go celebrate their Moors and Christians and all of that. And they're not in there talking about no Mauricanos. But certain things, as we know, because of all these so-called different kangaroo whoever's literally destroying information about the history that they found here after they took the power over, they realized what the hell was going on here. They said, we have to get rid of this stuff. Forget have archives of this. Get rid of this. So certain things right? Like over here being Morocco, you don't find out about certain things. That's why they put all the Latin in the law book and have you think that, oh, Mexicans and Brazilians and Cubans and those people are the only people that's limited to them. It wasn't some Spain people that brought that here. Some Spaniards brought Spanish to America as slave masters, conquistadors. No, not really. That was a good try though, but no. So the Republica obviously is republic, which is the people realizing that they have that power once they all have one mindset. The societas is the culture that they were practicing, exercising, living as, being. And Moricanos is the bloodline. That they're saying that they're Moors in Latin, that they got a society. So how are we stupid? How we don't want to rep the Moorish Empire when everybody else is repping some Moro whatever, Moricanos whatever, More whatever, More, M-A-U-R. How much more you need? You need much more? And again, anything having to do with Moor in America is part of the Moroccan Empire. It's part of the Moorish Empire. Just go get the 3-volume book on history of the Moorish Empire. And they put the good, the bad, and the ugly in there. So you can't escape that we're Moors. If you want to say you're the good guys and all that stuff, okay, well, those people were Moors. You don't want nothing to do with the slaver guys or who were Moors. Okay, fine, cool. All the good guys, they were Moors too. Not just the ones that enslaved them only are, the Moors, just them. Right? The discovery of America, an outgrowth of the conquest of the Moors. There's another one. Like, what do you want? Your master teachers tell you, Europeans come out and tell you, freaking website reprinting old books that you can't get in print no more about the Moors, and you still playing around? And it's not, it ain't nothing to us. It's info. It's just stuff that we know. We just study or whatever, and this is what we know. It's nothing crazy. Well, people really are missing it. Well, let's see what we got here. Page 28. At an expense of 15,000 florins, Columbus gave to the world America, out of which has grown the United States, whose population at an expense of 15,000 florins, Columbus gave to the world America, out of which has grown the United States, which population exceeds 55 million, which with its yearly influx of from 300,000 to 400,000 immigrants, coupled with its native increase, invites the prediction that during the next 20 years, her population will approximate 100 million. Its constitution which declares that we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America, in the base stone upon which our republican form of government was reared and has been perpetuated. To ensure the faithful implanting, the exercise of such constitutional provisions, George Washington, the quote-unquote father of his country, was selected and inaugurated the first president of the United States on the 30th of April, 1789, while standing on the balcony in front of the Senate chamber in the old courthouse in Wall Street, fronting Broad Street, the site now occupied by the sub-treasury, in full view of the multitude on the streets, roofs, in the windows of neighboring buildings. The balcony where George Washington stood was supported by lofty columns, and upon the conclusion of reading the oath of office, Washington, with his hand resting on the Bible, audibly responded, "I swear so help me God." This declaration was the signal for "Long live George Washington, President of the United States." A flag was hoisted amid the plaudits of the people and the boom of cannon. Thus began the life of a government which today has no equal on earth. So everybody knows that there's a distinction between America and the United States. And they're not mad. They talk about it. They put it out. They put it out. This is 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro with complete proof. J.A. Rogers. Can't even argue it. Talking crazy. The most ancient names for so-called black people are Nehesu or Nubian, Ethiopian, and Moor from ancient Egypt, and Negro or Negrita, probably the oldest as the Negritos, or Negro or Negrita from West Africa. The most ancient names for so-called black people are Nehesu or Nubian, Ethiopian, and Moor from ancient Egypt, Ethiopian and Moor from ancient Egypt, the Negro or Negrita from West Africa. All the above are native African words. Native African words. Negro is human race. Negro comes from the river Niger. Niger found its way. Negra, negrum came to mean black. Negro, negrito, negrita means the people of the great river. Black and colored, like white, are on the other hand European words. For all the unblack people out there, especially the ones who claim that they know their self, Master Teacher once again told you, black and colored, like white, are European words. Ethiopian and Moor were popularly used to describe the so-called blacks until the 1500s. So from however long Europeans were on the scene with an ability to talk and have conversations with people after they learned all the stuff from the Moors, which we would say are the quote-unquote Cushites, or Ethiopians, or Nubians. They called us Moors until the 1500s, when they realized that it's in the language. It's in what's being said, is how the ritual works. The ritual doesn't work because the stuff after you say whatever or the stuff before you say whatever. It's about the intent behind the. So if we can have them to put all their energy behind more, but make more be black to them, and then they run with that, then we got it. And then they got us. Yeah. Up until the 1500s, we were Moors. After the 1500s, started being all this other BS. That now we have no idea what it is that we are, who we are, where we come from, or anything. Master teacher telling me. Shakespeare uses Negro only once and uses it synonymously with Moor. Because Negroes are Moors, but not every Moor is a Negro. Get mad. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. There's no need to get mad. Once again, master teacher. Black and colored, on the other hand, have no historic meaning whatever of African people. Black, from the Anglo-Saxon BLAEC, has most horrible meanings. See any large dictionary. Remember, same ones that we told you on the bottom shelf when you go to Auntie whoever's house for the Christmas stuff. And then everybody went for the Jet magazines and the BS instead of go for the big stuff on the bottom shelf. And then, you know, nobody wants to go touch those. The big dictionaries. And laying it down for you. Get any large dictionary. Colored is related to the Latin celare, to conceal, to color up, to paint a thing other than its true light. Thus, the tendency to decry Negro on the ground that it means slavery is sheer ignorance. For instance, a Negro newspaper took a poll of its readers some years ago, and they chose colored, but the Jim Crow car, that greatest degrader of American citizenship, is usually marked colored. The majority of his paper circulation in the South, did they choose colored so as to be in line with the Jim Crow policy? Still, another paper used raceman, which makes the uninitiated think of the racetrack. Another very racial group chooses black, which, as was said, is positively a white man's word. For you so-called blacks out there that claim you know yourself, but don't want to hear what J.A. Rogers said. You're going to quote some other stuff that he said, but you never quote this. Another very racial group chooses black, which, as was said, is positively a white man's word. Of course, there is only one race, the human race. But of all the names used by the stronger group in America to set the dark-skinned citizens apart, Negro is the least objectionable. Not only is it very ancient, but it has a record in America of 4 centuries of fortitude, endurance, and survival power, rare in the annals of mankind. Negro is making splendid progress toward prestige in such terms as Negro spirituals, Negro boxer, Negro music, Negro athlete, Negro soldier, Negro loyalty. There is not a single noted name that was not once used in contempt or is still even used in parts of the world. Christian, Anglo-Saxon, Scot, Irish, English, American, Yankee, all were once very much looked down on. Can't even escape it. Get out of the dead status. Declare who it is that you are. Just declare who it is that you are. You have a right to. I got another one. That another one. The names are Elamir, Dr. Asar, Heru Bey, Mansa Shayam, and there is more. I'm trying to pull up the debates and slander that these dirty Moors were talking. So just know that all these people who are around today that claim anything relative to Moorish and all that stuff, know that they either came up under Taj Tariq Bey, Moor's Order of the Round Table, or Clock of Destiny, Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs, or Moorish Divine National Movement, Moorish Science Temple, keep in mind that in 2008, when we were brought back to our birthrights and nationality, and we looked at the scope as who were the teachers out here teaching stuff, it was more science and metaphysics that was on the come up. All that history stuff, forget that. We already know that history stuff. We already got them lessons. What's the next level up? Oh, next level up? That's some metaphysics. That's some Moorish nationality. Those were the realms, and those two realms coincided. There wasn't this debate and BS that you're seeing today, right? There's lectures with Bobby Hemmett and Ali Mel Bey that's probably only on VHS and that they would never transfer to DVD to show you how serious the unity was. There's lectures with Phil and Bobby. Like, you think these people today are telling you something? And they're not giving any honors to who came before them that were all L's and all that? Not giving no honors. Why? Because they tried to play the opportunist BS when they got this info from the master teachers. Trust me, we got the same info that they got. Anybody out here selling you whatever, Trust me, we got the info, and we say we're not dealing with that stuff that those people are dealing with because we know that there's something to Moorish nationality and birthrights. There's not some processes. There's either you're going to study, know who you are, or go out there and do whatever and see how that goes for you. It might be good. They're not even knocking it. But we don't care how good that stuff over there is. The stuff that we got here, that we got from Nova Juali, ain't nobody coming with anything that's going to trump that plan, that lesson plan right there. No one. So when you hear people pop up their head today, talking about they found the new way of doing whatever, and they're the ones that you should go jump on their bandwagon because they're whoever. You never check their baby pictures, realize that they used to be a guy. And you're chasing them around. You're playing yourself. None of these people out here today could say they never learned from Taj Tariq Bey if they say they're teaching something Moorish science, Moorish nationality, Moorish birthrights, Moorish whatever. None of them, zero, not one individual that claims that they're teaching or they have a temple or they have an organization or a group or a whatever like that for people to come and be part of that. And they're dealing with Moorish information. None of them could say that they never learned from the master teacher. None. Zero could say they never learned because he was just that open to everybody. And just like we were talking about the elder, the 1950s more, been around, seen all the BS happen, went and talked to these people who are claiming there's some authority in this. Same thing that the Amir did. Exact same thing. Like, yo, this is what it is. You know what I mean? This is the direction that stuff's going. You know what I mean? They got mad at nature, got nature jumped on board. You start saying Great Seal Moorish Science Temple. Who are you? Forget you guys. You guys don't know anything about law. Got mad because he's in the news, because he has case going on, suing police and all that stuff. This is before us coming into this. This is before us. Back in them again, Moors in Mecca, in Chicago, going hard. Moors have court. The courts closed. When Moors have court, everybody's stuff's canceled for that day. Imagine that. Think about the level of activity that Moors have to be doing for a Moor, because it's not even like these Moors got stopped. If they got stopped, it's some BS that some jealous highwayman is just trying to violate them just because he's jealous. Give them a ticket or whatever. They go to court and it's just them in there and the building is closed. Nobody could go in for their stuff. Their stuff got switched to another day because Moors have court. We know what this side's about. This side is realer than real. This side is the side FBI come to your house to check you. Forget send you some letter. Knock your door. Psh, 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 yo, we heard about that. You're a Moor. Come to your Job. Come to your Job. Like, hey, IRS called us and told us that you sent them some papers about you're a Moor and all that stuff. What do you mean you're a Moor? Nah, you don't. You're not really saying that. You're a Moor? You know that you're a Moor? How do you know that you're a Moor? Who told you this? What? You know Noble Drew Ali? What? What? No way. You can't tell me you know Noble Drew Ali. This is how real this is. This is how real this is. So real. Oh, sister. She's just on her energy of, you know what? I'm a Moor. I'm going to say that I'm a Moor. And that's just, people just going to have to accept that. I don't care. I don't have my nationality card yet. I'm going to get it. But until I get it, I'm a Moor. I don't care. This is a mindset she's going with. So, highway lady stops her. Yeah, you gotta see a license and all that stuff. Well, you know, sorry, I don't have a license. I'm indigenous. Here's my papers or whatever. I don't have my nationality card yet, but I'm working on getting my nationality card. And, you know, I'm just, you know, I'm just traveling. I don't have a license. This lady who's European highwayman lady breaks out crying because this sister knew her rights. That's all. She was blown into another dimension because she met an Asiatic that knew their rights. And she was a European. Gave her back her papers, went to her highway car and drove off. Just like that. If that's how it goes every time, yeah, sign me up for this. I have to check to see if it goes like that every time. Like I have to do it. Oh, hey, if that's how it's gonna go, let's go. It might not go like that. What do you mean? What could happen? Who knows? We're just letting you know what those Moors did. What you do, that's up to you, because this is your birthright. You know, I can speak for me. And the one that always sticks out to me was playing the role that, you know, we're somebody. We got the sashes on and all of that. And we're in a courtroom, sitting there just watching, waiting for somebody's turn. Course done. So we just go in the hall, we're just waiting for our turn. Go to the hall. The judge who was inside the thing walks up. No words, pulls the sash and flips it, you know what I mean? So he can read it, right? Because, you know, it's like on an angle on the chest. So he turns it so it's right side up. He's a reader. None of the Moorish. Moorish? You mean like Spain? Oh, you need to go to Morocco and all that stuff, because you need to see what they did to your temples. And they made them all churches. This is a judge. You don't know him from anybody. We just went to a courtroom just to sit down and wait. Because, you know, what our lessons were that if we have court, go there early, set your stuff up, but stay there and just go to different rooms and just hear what happens at court. Right? So anytime we go to court, that's what we do. Just go check other stuff. And the judge from one of those stuff came out. He was just doing whatever he's doing. We were just doing whatever we were doing. And he came up like, hey, you mean those Moors? Oh. Right? So yeah, this is real. This is real. These boys, these boys. Now, make sure you go get Nature Knows No Color Line, another book by J.A. Rogers, where he shows you the Negroes and the coat of arms of the noble families, but the Negroes' coat of arms have blackamoor heads on it, not Negro heads. Many British peoples of fair complexion were accustomed to blackening their faces artificially that they might the better pass for Moors. Many British people of fair complexion were accustomed to blackening their faces artificially. That's the stuff that the Dutch and them are doing. It's not some black face or whatever. It's not make a mockery. It's be the Moors one day in their life. They can put black tar on themselves and they could parade down the street and get what it feels like to have all these people giving you attention, which is energy, and then they leave there with all those people's energy, which is attention, that they gave them. And then they rule the world for a year, and then the day before the clock hits 12 again, they do the ritual where they dress up like the Moors and get all these people to give them energy, and then they go and leave that thing with all those people's energy that they just gave them. This sounds like a ritual. It doesn't sound like some mockery of no black anything. It sounds like black people are dumbasses. And they don't realize that, like the Moor said, that they're paying homage to you if you want to be Moors. If you want to be Negroes, then, you know, they could care less. But they got their energy. And you gave it. Gave it to them. Just because you want to be a Mitch ass nigga. You just want to be a Mitch. Shut the hell up, but you want to be a Mitch though. Albert Churchward, The Origin and Evolution of Freemasonry, connected with the origin and evolution of the human race. There's some European. The Masonry stuff. Woo! Dun, 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 dun. Introduction. This is just the intro. And then remember, always remember that just like the fair complexion people who want to pretend to be Moors, they do blackface. The Freemasons do dress up. So dress up is the Freemasons' blackface. Dress like the Moors. Because they can't do blackface and then dress like the Moors. That's going to give up too much. So they just do dress like the Moors only. Right? So this is from the people who dress like the Moors. They took the information of the Moors and then they took their little 33 degrees that they got of the 720 degrees of information that they got from the Moors, and then they came to their own conclusion for themselves. And then that's the Freemasonry Brotherhood, Fraternal Order of the whatever. Right? So this is the intro. At the present time, many countries are suffering from socialism and anarchy, with the attendant evils that always have been associated with every nation wherever the ignorant classes have been allowed to predominate in the councils and the government of the country, with the result that civilization has not been retarded only, but set back again for hundreds of years, at least in the progress of evolution in these countries. This evil is now threatening the whole of humanity and can be arrested permanently only by the unity of the Brotherhood of Freemasonry. The unity of all the Brotherhood of Freemasonry throughout the world is the only means for a permanent universal peace. Remember, they're taking Noble Drew Ali's program. They're in America. And they're applying that to themselves because they know that he came for the nations. And they just have certain things to back them up, which again is just confirmation, because the things that the quote unquote Masons have here, they say they got their charter from over there, which would be, their ancient ancestry. Just like we're saying ancient ancestry Moors, their ancient ancestry go back to Europe. Kings and queens living in the barn and stuff like that. That's their stuff. That's what they repped. We didn't have barns and stuff like that living as kings and queens and whatever. They didn't live with no barns, queens and all that. A whole different thing going on. This is for their salvation. We have ours for our salvation, but it's not this or anything dressed up like this. We have our own stuff that Prophet brought us. Right? Remember, they're striving for permanent, universal peace. That sounds like some devilish whatever. That sounds like some go in the coffin, boink, boink in the coffin. That's not the vibe. They were on some spiritual emancipation. And again, Islam to Brother Abdullah and Moors and Masonry, putting these things in proper perspective so that we're not lost. That we see clearly. Remember, it's still the introduction. I therefore will try to teach you some knowledge of the periodic laws of the corpuscles. In other words, the divine laws of the universe. Otherwise, you will fail to understand how and why progressive evolution is constantly and forever taking place, its subjective being to a higher type of Homo. All the facts I have herein set forth can be verified as the truth by any brother who will devote sufficient study and scientific research to the subject matter. In that same thing, Noble Drew Ali's program that he's telling you in the Circle 7, you got study, study, study. All right, well, that's what devote sufficient study and scientific research is. Study, study, study. This is not just come here, put on an apron, bang the gavel, and then you're a Mason. This is not just come in this and then just, show this paper, get out of a ticket. This is, you have to devote yourself to being a Moor. You're not gonna half-ass being a Moor and get out of whatever stuff. That's not what this is. This is not, it might be called Great Seal National Association, but this is not association in that perspective. It might be called Moorish Science Temple, but it's not temple in the idea where you think temple because, you know, you're not a Moor and you know the science on temples. Like, no, no, no. Hell no. Definitely do not know what you're talking about. These can be found written on stones, papyri, in the ritual of the resurrection of ancient Egypt, written in sign language, and almost the inner African and other native tribes, various parts of the world, and follow the laws of evolution and the migrations of the human race. Inner African and other native tribes. Oh. Inner African and other native tribes follow the laws of evolution. How much our people refuse to want to know? Refuse to. Refuse to. Periodic laws of the corpuscles and socialists. Recently, ethics has been preached and written by men who have not the slightest idea of the harm they are doing to their fellow creatures and their country. Also, many fallacies are still written and preached by some of our professors and great divines as truths, whereas the truth is entirely different. I therefore hope that this may awaken and teach them before it is too late, and that the human race might not be sent back to the dark and degenerate age from which we have just emerged. How did they just emerge out of that dark and degenerate age? By the Moors. And they, as Europeans, looked at their self as a people and said, yo, we are real bad right now. Set up this little order so that these Europeans could learn, and the serious ones, when it gets to the future, they're going to be the ones that are running this, that are leading this. They're going to be the ones in the high power positions and whatever. And they did their ritual. They realized that more science is the salvation for anybody seeking it. Anyone seeking it. Reason is the glory of human nature, and one of the chief eminences whereon we are raised above our fellow creatures in the lower world. It is only by reasoning from past experiences and understanding the periodic laws that a country or a nation can save itself from downfall and destruction and advance to a higher state of evolution. Now, this is more science. Information from the walls of Kemet by the ancient Kemetic Black African guys. You think they don't know? You really think they don't know? It is only by reasoning from past experiences and understanding the periodic laws that a country or a nation can save itself from downfall and destruction and advance to a higher state of evolution. Now remember, they're just giving them some tip of the iceberg, and that's their salvation. They're not even getting into the real. Without this knowledge, the humans will not advance much further to a higher type of man than the present highest Homo. Corpuscle is a negative particle of electricity which can exist alone. 1/1000th the size and weight of an atom of hydrogen with a velocity of about 100,000 miles per second and can penetrate through the thickest block of steel. An atom is made up of 2 or more corpuscles surrounded by positive energy. The mass of the atom must be the sum of the masses of the corpuscles it contains, so that the atomic weight is a measure of the number of corpuscles in the atom. The properties of an element are a periodic function of its atomic weight. It is the same with these corpuscles. In fact, the elements are a combination of groups of corpuscles. The mass and the corpuscles the atom contains is relative to the nation and the different oscillating forces actually keeping things balanced. Just like everything was kept balanced, even though the panic was going on, the site was going down, and you know, there was still, oh yeah, I can just go study. Oh yeah, I can just go call this more. Oh yeah, I can. There was a release valve so that the balance could be maintained, so that you don't lose the focus or you don't go into quote unquote dis-ease or slowing down the vibration, because it's that ripple effect, like they're talking about the rings of the corpuscles. And we already know rings vibration. So think about the vibration that we have to be on. Like when you look at what we were talking about with the site go down, and then some people try to jack the energy, right? Like ultimately they got destroyed. But because of the ego, it's not gonna let them see that they're dust. Remember, all this is Freemasonry. All this is the stuff that they're learning. This is where they're going. We see in this way that we can divide the various groups of corpuscles into families. Each member of the family is derived from the preceding member and has certain similar definitive properties. Now, when any ring is subject to an external disturbance, one or more corpuscles may easily be detached from it. The negative electricity of the collection of corpuscles is just balanced by the sphere of positive electricity surrounded and enclosing it. If therefore one negative corpuscle is lost, the whole arrangement will assume a positive change. Such an atom would then behave like the atom of a strongly electropositive or basic element. Applied to humans, the will, mind, or action of an individual will become positive or of an optimistic character. Applied to humans, the will, mind, or action of an individual will become positive or of an optimistic character. Like the optimistic character people are the people who are on the fence. They haven't seen the thing yet to make them say, I want to be Moors. Let's be that. They're still waiting for the, it was like when Bobby Hemmett did the lecture with the Nuwapians. If you've never seen that one, it might be on YouTube. Go look that one up. When he had them there for 3 hours or something like that. And them, they're waiting for something. And Hemmett's like, what do you mean? I thought this was just a build or whatever. Like, what do you mean you want me to give you some info? Like, you guys supposed to be Dr. York students. Like, what do you mean you want Hemmett to give you something? Like, what am I going to give you that he doesn't give you? Like, so you trying to say that he didn't give you, he never gave you guys nothing? He played you guys? You guys think I'm the right? No. Right? The optimistic character. You people. Like the ones positive, the ones that's already on this and they're you get the wiserhood, you know what I mean? You're part of the club and all that stuff. You're good. Optimistic ones, yo, you need to get your wiserhood. Don't be waiting. Ain't no waiting about this. You're more. Like, let's go. Just waiting for it. Well, you know, I sent for the papers and it never came yet. And then I'm the no. It's not. Go get your periodic laws because you're tripping right now. This is the one. Next one. This proves that evolution and devolution in the universe are balanced and that nothing is lost. Only a transference and a transformation takes place of energy and matter. It is the same in the organic as it is in the inorganic world. Given a person's mind or thoughts in a stable condition upon any particular or definite subject, his brain cells are made up of these groups of corpuscles just on the balance of stability, on the line or condition of a series that is in a stable condition electrically, a normal brain. But something occurs outside his brain cells which affects this series, say shock or acute mental emotion, or only a bombardment of this series of corpuscles by others outside. For example, first it alters the grouping of this series, and the result is a change from the previous mental condition, which has been a normal one, but now becomes neither a positive or negative state of abnormal action or thought. In certain events, it might render the grouping of the corpuscles into the state which is neither positive nor negative, and these groupings are incapable of receiving or losing another corpuscle. His mind or brain then would become lost. And again, relate all these things to how would this look like using Moorish language? How would this, when we look at positive or negative as higher self, lower self? You know, looking at negative state and positive state as a geographical jurisdiction. You know, when we look at something occurs outside the brain cells which affects the series of the balance and stability, whether it's shock or whatever. What if the shock is, you know, the blue red lights come on, is the shock? What if somebody on black or whatever is the shock? Nigger. If that's the trigger word. The actions, thoughts, the different attitudes assumed by men and women who may live under the same surroundings, but who, in thoughts, actions, and words, are diametrically opposed to each other in their opinions on any given subject, each one supposing and believing himself to be right, yet at the same time, many laboring under the greatest fallacy, because the normal condition of the corpuscles of the atoms compromising their brain cells has received wrong impressions, either positive or negative, the result of different groupings. This may occur in many ways, i.e., by reading that which is not true, being erroneously taught, or having their brain corpuscles bombarded by others outside by suggestion and other pernicious influence. Right? And then keep in mind the lesson that Dr. Hannibal was talking about. And I'm pretty sure that one of the arts was suggestion. And talking about being able to bombard from the outside people's mind to have them think what you want them to think and do what you want them to do. But what if they received that message you're relaying wrong and it works against you? And you tried something on them. Because remember, balance is always going to be maintained, even at the expense of you. The man is mind. Man is not this physical stuff. And there was two more, but we'll save a couple more because those were good. Those were good. Moors, I want to say Islam, all the Moors worldwide. Give thanks for the Moors being here today. For us to, just chill a little bit, get some energy. Give thanks to everybody for the vibrations. Give thanks to all the email people. Of course, give thanks to the mothers for taking some time, to spend with the sons and daughters and other mothers out there. We want to give supreme honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Honorable Marcus Garvey for doing the work that they did to keep us in a good state, keeping us in a good state. And again, to all the Taurians out there, Islam to you. I got mine going down tomorrow. So give thanks from all the Moors. I already know if I was on the book, I would have been getting hit up from long time. So give thanks. Peace and love to all the Moors. I will that we learned something. And if you didn't learn something, then I feel sorry for your mother. And before we close out, of course, we gotta, just because people played themselves, we gotta definitely put them on blast just because they played themselves. Because people like to play themselves, and then they don't get put on blast, and then they play themselves again, and you know, they don't get it. So we just want to make sure that we always put it on the record. Just want to make sure that we always put it on the record. Peace, more.
Peace, more.
Islam, yo, I know daddy daycare is going on right now.
You already know, man. You already know it, more.
So,
Just finished cooking up something hot off the presses, baby. Them belly's full now, so.
say they got the breasts. They're good.
That's what I was going to say. I was listening to the class, and as you was reading, I know some people like Richard Junior up there, the head is just bubbling with water, boy. Just bloop, bloop, bloop. But no, I also want to say, your man thought he was going to go down to the Baltimore Harbor and get caseloads of Long Island iced tea. Only come to find out he needs to jump his ass in that water, his dirty ass.
Hold on a second. Well, actually, since we got you on the line, you know what I mean? Since we got you on the line, we'll try to be quiet, because everybody's sleeping and stuff. Just quick, fast. What, before we do our closeout, what does this say? Like, what does the actions of certain people? You know what I mean? What does it say for the Moors?
I mean, it speaks a lot. It speaks volumes, which in actuality, like, because you have to see. Okay, the line has been drawn in the sand. You know what I'm saying? The line has been drawn, and certain people they know, but they don't want to tell what they know. You know what I'm saying? You follow Moors. This right here is not nothing compared to what's coming down the pike. Like, Moors, just stay studying, keep doing what you do. Don't worry about it. Stay at the university. If it go down, don't worry about it. It's here to stay. No worries. Like, stop it. Stop it already. These dirties, they need to stop it more. But, that's what we're here for. We're here to clean them up with the soap. So that's what it's going to be.
We got the teacher on soap for those dirty words.
Oh.
We got the Dr. Bonner's peppermint soap for those dirty words. We got the Dr. Bronner's for those dirty words.
You get the Hawk Smash. You got the Hawk Smash lavender. That's the green suit. You get the black suit, we got the green suit. Someone's got the green soap on oh man, like I just want to say more. Just keep doing your do, and I want to also say for the record while I'm on here, I have not posted up anything. I'm going through a little something with YouTube because every time I post something, it wanna.
Let's talk about it since you're here. Since you're here, what I mean. We're gonna try. The babies are sleeping. We're gonna try to be quiet. Right?
You're right. But every time I post some good information, which I have been trying to do my best in the interviews that we got and we put out. Every time I post up something, they say that I violate some terms and conditions. So I appeal it. But every time I appeal it, even though YouTube say I have violated, they've in the review, we reviewed your videos and come to find out you did not violate any of our terms and conditions. Your 2-week vacation has been cut short. Welcome back. But for the record, I love you, Morris. Hey,
I'm going to keep pushing out. And every time they try to take it down, I'm going to appeal to bring it back up. But I'm going to keep pushing forward and moving forward. This movement might be slowed down, but you can't stop it.
Islam to that, boy. You definitely can't stop it. Oh yeah, you got the shout outs for the Moors out. You got any shout outs for the Moors? Oh, hold on. I'm talking to myself while you're on mute. Yeah, no. Yeah. I was just gonna ask you one thing. If you have a message for the Moors before you do your closeout phrase.
Oh yes, I do have a strong message. Make sure that you keep studying. All right, study, because we don't need to have your brains bubbling like Mitch Donkey
what's some things that we have to do, you know, a couple of things that Moors could be doing, just to continue with, you know, getting this word out.
Well, first, like I say, it all starts with studying, because you can't, man knows not by being told. So, we still have to learn ourselves, and for us to give information out, to uplift fallen humanity and, to help in our prophets' great missionary work. We just gotta just stay focused first of all. You know what I'm saying, and get to self, because yourself is what you need. We need self with each other. Then we get each other. But as far as getting word out, do music or do videos or create a show or create something. Do something. That's what we need. But it has to be positive and correct. Not no nigger shit. Not no black conscious. None of that crap. None of that shit. All that is out the window. We have to stay focused and create something, because we are industrious. By nature, we are industrious. So if you want to create a product to sell, that's something. You can do that. You can, but as long as it's geared towards helping someone know who they really are. Like, if I can write a book like you brothers do, like you, Grand Sheik, and all the other sheiks that you come across and you did stuff with, like my brother Mix, like y'all, y'all doing literature, y'all putting literature out there, and you're not putting it out there just to collect notes or nothing, but you're putting it out there to help someone know who they really are. That's what we could be doing. We could be doing more of that. How your man be saying, back in the day when he put his hands up like he's talking with a puppet, you're doing a lot of this, and then close it when he said, you should be doing some of this. Talking with, right? Writing it down and then presenting it to the people, and the people can read for themselves, and if they need to explain or be explained to, we can explain it to them. But doing something to raise the people, R-A-I-S-E, instead of raise the people, R-A-Z-E. And there is a difference, so, we need to go and look them two words up and really get the gist of that. And I also want to say, don't just create some videos and just running off at the mouth like certain people, like I'm going to throw people up under the bus, 9 News Mind 101. Like, dude, Fez is not, didn't come from the etymology of a town. And like one of the good brothers in the chat said, well, Fez was, or that Turkish country or city was created in 1954 in Morocco. But the prophet was saying that Fez was a Fez in the early 1920s. So, which argument? So that was a good point, like the brother said in the chat. So, like, that's what we can do. If you can build or create something to help someone know that they are not black, Negro, or colored, that's what we can be doing as Moors. That's your job.
It's on, Moor. So I'm ready for you, Moor. Sorry about the delay.
Peace and love to all the brothers and sisters in the chat. I always want to say, do something to help the person next to you and the person outside of you, because we all are one, really. And the first principle we can use is love. But when it comes to someone that's not doing right and always want to see you come down and your sister and brother down, this is what we say. Taharka. Pig Pen LT Bear. You suck.
You suck.
On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When the truth gets revealed, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, on the real.
When I uplift the fallen humans from the ashes, the phoenix will rise and live on after it clashes. Feathers and head wraps, costume ball sashes. Atlantis and Pangea was us ruling the atlas. The mundane, some god and none brain. Judah is reincarnate, some self-proclaimed. Taking the lessons from Quran questions. Bible as my rolling pad, holy book, circle 7. Forerunner Marcus Garvey coming in the whirlwind. Moorish Boba Muftis in the black turban. Pioneer exposed as the triple crown glows. Every Negus has the Negus as his throne. The temple as the body. Truth as my shoddy. With no bulge, I'm still armed without the robbery. Master arts martial, and they marshal the law. Peace offers abuse authority, fracture your jaw. Clapping at yaw at bachelor parties. Not knowing whether it's controlled by HAARP. Stopping the tapping of UH frequency. Sent to the higher self from Sirius B, or maybe Sirius A. The reverse is serious internet radio play. Like square shreddies are now diamond and new. Misleading, they charge a bill 50 for a shoe. It takes $5 to make. They load trucks with bins. Same goes for cars, construction Tims. So clean, no scuffs. Revolution chumps, reclining in the armchair, speechless like monks. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, on they probably go squeal. Change is coming. I'm watching hybrids running for shade, cause Earth's hot, not like a preheat oven. Raid the stores for UV protection. If AIDS can go through the condoms, who you protecting? Neglecting the truth and lie accepting. Not in for a person, reparations expecting. Planes going down, but you're not ejecting. Too busy flossing with the spinning rims and white feeders flexing. Fronts are fake elements, that's not real gold. Running from police with guns is not too bold, cause you got a gun but won't shoot back, son, or shoot first and earn your way off earth. Suicide is a sin and sin is ignorance. Not thinking critical makes you ignorant. Missing the message. Ego filling your brain with nonsensical thoughts just to drive you insane. On the real, all these 30 Moors know the deal. On the real, all these 30 Moors know the deal. On the real, all these 30 Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, on the probably do it square. Our leaders labeled black, they were assigned to us. As ancients, we flew. We didn't have to ride the bus or drink at their fountain. We didn't even need our own. The gun is a penis and every man is holding a chrome. Thinking it's tough, but when you shoot, you bust like vixens holding you in with the camera hoof clutch, smoking a Dutch, but taught much against the master. Sellouts will pay karmic debt in the life after. Don't believe me, seek the truth. I hear Hail Hitler when I play back these hip hop loops. That rap hip hop, Nas said it's dead. Same gun he raps about, shot J in the head, cripple a team. These ball players, they cripple a dream. Counting the asses that they slap but won't get a bad rap. And rap sheets are written by them. It's police, not following Moors, but niggas booming in their Jeeps. Europeans on the bus, they acting like niggas. Straight off the plantation, looking like J Hill figure. From the foreigner, you'll never get compensated. This armor you man saying you strapped, you been miseducated. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When we start the revolution, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. When the truth gets revealed, all they probably do is squeal. On the real, all these dirty Moors know the deal. On the real, on the real. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they're real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Welcome to Scarborough. Youths want cash without tango. Candle magic got me calling on Shango. When I strike, I'm coming from lightning angles. Wet up in your ride like dangles. Know your place. When me and the God step in the place, devils get step in their face. No matter your race, watch your speech. We defend peace with justice. Love for the God make you shit like mustard or run like custard. Too slow, so you know how it go. Send him to Assad. I'm not the one to judge you, bro, or judge you. sis. Humanity written from hip to hip, but you're shaking them and not getting your womb equipped. Degrading yourself for women's rights, not saving yourself. Turning a dyke, but won't spiritually raise yourself. Waste of sperm, can't even wait to perm. Getting viruses and symptoms, you're thinking it's germs. Making so many mistakes, from none you learn. Seeing your future as the fucking cauldron turn. Ease the burn of your young son's death. Blaming the influence, but never blaming yourself. Driver shot, but never a crooked cop. Crip shot, but never a racist cop. Racism doesn't exist, so stop. Rex 84, King Alfred got him on the block for chopping. Nigga mortus, abuse ain't stopping. Guns on your shirts, but your pistol's not cocking. Popping and locking, guns jammed for 10 you're locked in. Or eternal sleep in a closed coffin. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. They got you stuck on some fakeness. We revealed this, you heard of us. Official lower self-murderers. These Mars come equipped for warfare. Tam or Kufi. These Sufi are my corp of Mufti. For all those who wanna profile and pose. See a nigga dressing or a fag made his clothes. You all alone in that gear, cousin. Gangsta hardcore thugs, you just frontin'. Cops keep them fake crews running like they supposed to. Rich like Scarface, you never come close to. I can see it, eyes tell no lies. Assalamu alaikum, selling white sugar in those bean pies. Giving dollars to Doc's lawyer who took the bar. And between you and your leader, he's being a bar. Some say I'm rude, blame Brother Dawood or Azariah. Pastor Beverly, the Messiah. David Walker, action not a talker. Sleepwalker, wake up, you're just daydreaming. Dirty Moors don't want to be God and stay heathen. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Rappers think they hot, niggas warm like Luke. Oops, call them dirty Moors is what we taught to do. Not the Klansmen, burning some cross for you. If he's got a speechwriter, who's the boss to you? Voting for Obama, I see he's off like you. I'll walk, don't need a boxed up Porsche like you. Loving the fiat, dirty Moors thugging for fiat. Grabbing old ladies' purses, they mugging for fiat. Some taking, some big, for fiat they drugging. Fiat is backed by nothing, fam, I'm not bluffing. Players hands on their ass like it's turkey they stuffing. Doing it for your boys, treat your girl like nothing. Matriarch rules, patriarch fools. I'm seeing gods act like men, thinking like mules. Square my rough edges without mason tools. I never took an oath, so I'm revealing mason rules. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Most don't learn till it's too late. Most say that they real, but they too fake. Most act minor, but think they too great. Most meet fake just cause they too bait. Produced by D&D, Gagotas, Iron Sheik, CMP.
And conscious means that you're conscious of what's going on in this world. You're fully aware and awake to what's going on in this world. That's what conscious rap means. So if you got conscious rap, that means you got unconscious rap. That means you got motherfuckers that's unconscious rapping. That means they sleeping. They still under the spell of Leviathan. They still under the spell of King.
Call me brother man, I'm not the rubber man. Though I keep my Nazis in affairs wrapped with some rubber bands. Burning out the Ku Klux Klan and Wizard Grand Dairy Queen misters. Just butts of guns I'm giving. Trying to make more sovereign citizens. These minions help kill your prophet, stole your treasury millions. You heard it from your brother man. Now the smother sell out. Sets links and K2 Kush days keep me red out. I got the knowledge to make these silly hoes question the pimping directors of music videos. Gay laws and persons with strap-on boots with heels. Too much graphic art got faces, boobs are not real. Since MCM and Troop, they use Timberland boots to get us all caught up in fashion, not the simple men roots. Got our people on dogmatic, not metaphysic. Exoteric, not esoteric is how you missed it. So out of it, you couldn't feel the natural mystic blowing through the air like it didn't give a shit. I hear the dirty Moors dissing, cause I said profanities. A lot of these grand sheets need to take off the panties. Pull the thong out your crack vest wearing sash, ass nigga. Return to where the prophet found you, Negro, ass nigga.
It's time to choose a side. You either positive or you negative. You either evil or you good. You understand what I'm saying? Choose a side, nigga. I know what side I'm on.
I throw a Molotov at the priest that works for the beast. All they want is our people to rest in peace. No attention of allowing more stress to ease. Cracker won't go home to spread himself the disease. Genocidal epidemic kill us in high proportions. Instead of mummified, we stay boxed in coffins. Mayors attend funerals for PR purposes. Where's the police escort? He replied with nervousness. He said, I don't have those numbers or connections to have Metro Police lead your friend's funeral procession. That's coming from Mr. Mayor, black community player, no question in the hoods, dropping off boxes of weapons. Then blame black on black crime or natural causes. Plus those doctors are not on point but off a bit. Natural mystics prove they're not holistic. Hypocrite oaths make your children autistic.
I'm at the point now where I'm saying I'm tired of mixing the medicine with the food. I'm tired of playing that game. Now I'm shoving straight medicine down your fucking throat, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Straight doses of medicine and then shove down your throat. I don't give a fuck if it turns you off or not. Because if it do turn you off, then you're stupid, ignorant motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Don't judge like a cover of your favorite book. Visit you in your dreams, hand with the hook. Paralysis overtook, so shook. Stop, look, listen with precision. MC on a mission, vision. Past senses and endless. Cipher with active Moors, beat you with facts senseless. Have your mind defenseless when the truth enters. I blow. Reminds me of Omar Bay, Algonquin embers. Tap your pie and meal out what some man remembers. All the lies told to your mind dismembered. Circle broken into quadrants, you the seven in the center compass G between the square. Baphomet of Templars, Warlock. Call on my witch mothers to maim them. The same wise spirits burned at stakes in Salem. Torture with vagina pair, survive, bobbing for apples. Contort thumb, slide wrist out, tight shackles.
I always got something deep to say. Every time around. I always got something deep to say. Every time around. I always got something deep to say. Every time around. I always got something deep to say. Every time around.
You know what's funny, you Mitch ass nigga? You know what's real funny? I want to do this live just so I can put it out for you. Mitch ass nigga. That's how you know a troll. You know a troll when you go on their YouTube page and they have no subscribers and they have no content. FOH, trolls. FOH. You can't stop this. Islam, boys. Peace and love.